Okay, we're going to freestyle. 10 inches of snow outside, not a whole lot to do. Let's talk some golf equipment and, well, anything else we want to talk about. Next. Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and it's about what's in my drawers in my golf shop. And this is where we talk about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings, all so your scores can go low. If you would, see that little ticker tape going across the bottom? It says like and subscribe. How about you do that for me? We'd like to get our membership up there. We're really going to try and grow it for quite a bit this year, and in a couple of weeks, we will be throwing some content at you like never seen before. So, let's get started. So, I hope everybody is recovered from the holidays, right? So, I will say this, that we got back. We celebrated, me and Mrs. McGolf, 41 years of blissful happiness. Blissful happiness. And Miss McGolf took me down to Lebanon, Kentucky, to a place, Independent Stave Company, where they make barrels for the bourbons and the whiskeys and the wines and all kinds of stuff. You want to talk about a cooperage that is very, 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 very impressive. That is one heck of a place. I will say, those guys go through a truckload of barrels, and they are the one thing I saw that made them stand out from the other ones is that the tops and the bottoms are put together in a much different way than the other ones. Most of the other ones are put together with a dowel and a hole, and they're put together. The ones that Independent Stave does is that they're tongue and grooved, and then they're put together and they're swelled together, and the process is just really cool. And they have everything laid out to the final degree. Everybody's taking a look at it, and they process a truckload of barrels. It was a very, very, very cool, very cool experience to go see that. Now on the way out, we did stop at we stopped at Limestone and picked up two more single barrel offerings that they had. Both were phenomenal as far as the tasting goes. And then we went into Cincinnati and spent the night up there just on the other side of Cincinnati. I keep forgetting the name of the town. It's New something or another. There's a very nice hotel over there that's right across the street from New Riff. And we ate at the Buckhead restaurant, which had a really nice steak. And all in all, it's a very, very good time. And then we made our way home. Now, I got something stuck in my throat. Last night, Snowmageddon hit Ohio, and we got around 8 to 10 inches of snow. I'm sure other places will say 6, some will say 12, but we went out and measured and actually got between 8 and 10 inches of snow, depending on what side of the house we were on. So that's significant, right? Is when you walk out there to clean off the vehicle, snow is basically halfway up your leg. So it makes life a little difficult. Now, the compound matters. About 5 o'clock in the morning, we lost power. And don't know why, don't know how. And so now we're running around trying to figure out how do you keep things warm as opposed to how to keep things cool when you lose it in the summer. A little bit different idea. And thankfully, AEP was on it, and by 10:30, we got it back. It was funny because I was downstairs in the shop. I didn't have any lights on, and what let me know that the power came back was my air compressor took off. Scared the living bejesus out of me. And we got that. So once we got that, I was able to clean my car off, and I took off for work because we're in a level 3 snow emergency, but all my people are minimum staffers, so I didn't think it would be right for them to be there and not. So we got her all done. It's still snowing. We're expecting maybe another inch of snow, but the roadways are looking way better, and I fully suspect that we'll crawl out of a level 3 probably sometime in the early hours of the morning. Okay. So we did one golf related thing. We got a set of clubs out. That's about it. Didn't take any pictures of it because it was all time sensitive. I did do the video on Sunday. Hopefully you guys got to see that. And it was about fixing an adapter. We had a golfer in here that I fit, and he brought us it was a driver, and it was snapped clean off right on top of the adapter underneath the ferrule, and how to basically drill the thing out. And we're just waiting on the shaft so that he can have, his driver back. And what we did is we cleaned it up a lot of bit, cleaned it out the inside of it, and now it's ready to accept it. One other thing I got going on is, I showed you Mrs. McGolf's clock. I didn't show you my clock, so I made one too. Pars and Pours, upcoming channel, and this one worked out pretty decent. We like this one a lot. The funny part is they both keep in time like they're marching together. It's really crazy. It's a very neat little clock. We actually hung the other one. If you guys have never heard of it, there's a 3M clamp, 3M, and it's got two dogs, and you put it in there, and then you push it in. It's supposed to hold upwards of 50 pounds. They've probably got other ones that will hold more, and this one's probably weighs about between 25 and 30, I'm going to say. Got it on there one try, and it's hanging really good, and we put some other barrel tops right next to it to make it look like it belonged there, and Mrs. McGolf picked those out, and it's looking pretty good. I'd show them to you, but I didn't download them, and this is about golf, not barrel tops. Okay, so that's where we're at. Charlie, hopefully you got on there and you got a chance to taste them, but today it's Natterjack. It's an Irish whiskey in the 120 proof range. If you guys have never come across it, Natterjack is actually pretty decent, right? Even with the, as far as Christmas goes, you see that big old floater in there. So I got an ice cube mold from Silograms. I believe it's on the East Coast, and it has golf club related. It's got a couple of square cross golf clubs on this one, and some golf related monikers on the bottom. So it kind of golf related ice cube. So I talk about crossing over. Hopefully that'll drive out whatever was bothering me earlier. Whew. All righty, so let's get to going. Matt says he's about to play his game against Lorraine. The girls say hi. We'll say hi back to the girls for us. Enjoy the snow. No. Actually, snow's not too bad. You always get those discussions where it's raining, it's like 40 degrees and it's awful. And you're just like, man, make up your mind. Do you want it to snow or do you want it to rain? Well, right now it's snowing. And honestly, it doesn't bother me one way or another. It's all going to disappear and get warmer, and we're going to golf. So it is what it is. All right. Describe the importance of lie angle. He wanted me to do a lie angle video, so I owe him that. I got to do a lie angle video between now and the end of the week. So lie angle. Lie angle is a measure of. Hold on. Oh, I had to grab one. Okay, so lie angle. Let's get rid of that. So lie angle. So we got this one. This is a T20 wedge that I put together, and I personalized it. It's got all the first initials of all the family members, and so anyway, lie angle. Lie angle is actually the measure of from here in its playing position to up here. So it's basically this part right here. And it's how you interact. It's what helps you interact with the turf in such a fashion that you hit it here in the what you're looking for is to get turf interaction in the middle. Not here, not here. So if you've seen it in the you'll see in illustrations where if you're hitting it right here, the ball will go to your inside. If you're hitting it here, the ball will go to your outside. And if you're hitting it there, the ball will go to the middle. And that is a very good description of what can happen. And I'm going to move this. That's the problem. The most moving away from the camera I've done it in a long time. All right. So, can you override that a little bit? Yeah, if you do, but it's going to be a fairly extreme move, right? Either you're going to have this really deep, if you're hitting into the toe and you're coming in here, chances are you're coming in like, you could come in like that with the face closed and send it zinging to your inside. Well, that's a severe over the top. I mean, it's a pretty bad move. And the same thing could be said for the heel motion, right? So, why is this important? Well, in a lot of cases, we want you to be here because if you're doing it, chances are wherever you're grounding this club, you're hitting it in that spot too. So we want you to get into the middle of the club because that's where you get the best reaction for the golf ball. That's one. Two, it's turf interaction so you don't get stuck. If you get here and it wants to close, now it can go either way, but 90% of the time it's going to want to do this. This is going to do that. And we don't want that. That means for bad shots, right? We want to get rid of that. And so that's what that's for. Now, lie angles, are they important in every single club? Are they paramount in every single club? No. Are they important in every single club? Yes. Right. So if we start with a putter, which is basically the shortest one of the clan, typically, and we say everything's typically because as soon as I say absolutely this, somebody out there is going to go, "Oh, I don't do that," and so that's a bogus claim. Typically, when you do the putter and you want it sold, and meaning sold means flat, just like we're trying to do right here, trying to make it so that it's flat across there, so that when you're looking down at your alignment lines or you're giving yourself the idea of how to aim that club, you're there as opposed to being tilted. Very, 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 very few people have ever been very good at something other than that. Jumbo Ozaki was probably one of them, and he played with a putter that had a 0 or slightly negative loft, but it was also the thing he almost putted with it on its heel. And he's pretty much the only guy I've ever seen pull that off. Now, and he could putt, right? But that was just his style. Now, as you go from the top of the set down, as the loft of the golf club becomes more, as in this is a wedge, it becomes more important. All right, more important. So in a driver, is lie angle absolutely critical? No. Number one, you're hitting it off the tee, so you're not grounding the club, so it can't be all that bad. However, it can get in the way in some cases, but as a general consensus, no. But as you start getting into the irons, what'll happen is as this loft becomes more, okay, the lie angle change becomes more radical. So if you were here like this and I just changed it, and it was a little bit like that. I go like this and I change it, and you see how much more it is? So as the loft angle becomes greater, the changes in the lie angle are more pronounced. That's really the best way to say it. And that's the reason why lie angles are very important. Now, the last bit of this, and it's not related to lie angle, is also the bounce and or the grind of the club. In the lower end, again, it's all about turf interaction. In a lot of cases, higher bounces are easier to hit. You don't get stuck. But if you're a scooper or you're playing in super hard pan, that may not be the way where you want to go. That's getting into a different setup of we're talking about bounce, not lie angle. So that's what it is there, Matt. Thank you for the topic. All right. Kent's back with us. Hi, from a white and chilly Halifax, 8 inches of that horrible stuff. Yep. And that's what we got. So, hey, we're on the same page. Nicely done, sir. Okay. Oh, and thumbs up, guys. It's a new year. Let's have Jim and Robin explode to 50. Oh, man. I like your thought process, Kent. Thank you very much. John Cherry, greetings to all. Jim and Robin, fellow golfers from Myrtle Beach. It was also getting cold here. Highs only in the 40s, 30s this week. Brr. Oh, so a buddy of mine lives in Florida. He's a submariner as well. And he was doing one of those Jeep getaway weekends where he and the wife and a whole bunch of friends, they go what they call four-wheeling. And four-wheeling in the sand, is not necessarily four-wheeling as it up here in the hills. However, they do go off-road. We'll give them that. Let's just say they go off-road. Anyway, they're having a good time, and there's a whole bunch of folks sitting around a fire, and they got all their jackets on and their hoodies up and the sock hats going, except for my buddy. He was toughing it out. He had a jacket on, and he was just loving life. And they're in Florida, right? They're in Florida. And so I made a comment. I said, what was it, about 60 degrees? You guys getting a little chilly? He says, oh, man, I got down to 40. It's like, okay. So I can get that. My last day in Florida when I was in the military, we were still wearing the white, which is the summer outfit. And we were standing in, formation. It was 32 degrees. You want to talk about some cold folks. We were shivering. And as soon as he released us, we all made a beeline for the commissary because we knew every one of us was going north, and that was just a warning shot right there. And we all bought parkas. Every last one of us bought parkas. We emptied that shelf out, and it was one of the best coats I ever bought. And I wore it down until there was no more coating on the outside. Well, man. All righty. Manuel, sorry I missed last week. Hey, wife had a hip replace. Dude, you don't have to be sorry about nothing. All right. Hopefully, mommy's doing okay, and PT is moving nicely along. Snow in the area, just indoor putting every day. So here's something, Emmanuel, and all the rest of you guys. So I am, I haven't touched a golf club in almost 2 months, and I'm getting ready to go down to Orlando, and I got to hit some golf balls. Otherwise, these guys are going to chew me alive because it's all a bunch of other club makers. Of course, I'm probably going to be one of the oldest guys there, but I still want to make a good showing of it. And in the previous time frames, I've been able to hold my own. Say for the driver, I mean, when you're in your 50s and you come up against somebody in your 20s, there's just, unless you're some kind of phenom, there's just no comparison. And particularly when most of these guys from like Minnesota and they can't get out of there fast enough, they've been playing indoors and stretching it out for a while. And I've told myself 20 balls a day, every day until we get ready to go. And today I owe myself 20, which I'll do after this is done. And the first 2 days I've already shown like a 3-yard improvement. That is absolutely crazy. And so hopefully we get up to, and I'm nowhere near where I was. I'm easily 20 yards short. Well, no, I'm at 12 yards short right now. So getting old is not for sissies. Hope New Year's brings success to everyone, and same to you, sir. There's Brad. Brad's going to Orlando for his PGA show. I don't know if it's his first one, if it's his first one or not, but whatever it is, he's going to have a good time. Hey, 3 Eye Blind's going to be playing in a concert, so can't be all bad. Charlie says, hey, Jim Robin, did you get a chance to try them samples out, Charlie? Mark Nat says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, all the rest of you guys, too. Thank you very much. Wind chill, put it in the teens in the weekend with 30 miles. I lasted. Dude, the fact that you got out there and you got in that wind chill and you did that, you are the man. Well done. All right, Wayne, nothing. Jim, all can do indoor putting, 8 inches of snow here in West Virginia. My putting needs practice. So does mine. I probably ought to pull mine out as well and give it a few shots. So what do you guys think? Is this lab golf or zero torque putters, is that going to be a thing coming up? I have been looking. I do have a list here. Hold on a second. I did one of my very first Pars and Pours episodes just before coming on here. I did some Knob Creek. If you guys like Knob Creek, we can talk some about that. But nope, there it is. There's what I'm starting at right there. There's a list of companies I started looking at for to visit. Of course, some of them are old friends, and some of them are new. But in much the same fashion, the putter section is going to be massively full because that's just the easiest way to get into the golf industry is with a putter. Makefield, I think, is going to dominate that area, but they got one that's called the Ogre. There's one called the Ogre. There's another one out there. It's got like a teardrop. It's got the rolled face on it, but it's got all these funky colors. Like these pastel colors that go on these clubs, and I'm not impressed by a color. I want to see the thing work, and they've got all these different necks that you can put on them, which is pretty cool. But these colors just, I don't know. I think they just set me back a little bit. And then they want almost $450 to $500 for these putters. So they had better perform, right? If they perform, I don't care what color they are. But as far as getting somebody to come and take a look at you, that's one of the things. Have it look good, perform good, and then people will determine whether it's worth the value. Phil K, Happy New Year. Happy Monday from Austin. It looks like it'll be warm enough to golf this Saturday. Well, good for you. It won't be like that here. We'll still be in the 20s and 30s, I think. I was thinking about maybe we'll test out we got those outside porch heaters. Now you see what it feels like to sit underneath them at full tilt when it's 30 degrees out. All right, Peter's in here from Myrtle Beach. How you doing, sir? There's Robin talking. Happy 42nd anniversary, Phil and Polly K. We celebrated for this Thursday. Well, congrats, Phil. 1 year ahead of us. A couple days behind, but 1 year ahead of us. Well done, sir. Howard Shore says, how's the snow? Deep. Deep as best I can tell you. I took out of here about noon, and we hadn't touched our parking lot. And I took off, and the highway had been gone over several times, you could tell, and both lanes were still snow covered. There wasn't a clearing amongst any of it. Now, before you guys get all over me on this one, I live in southern Ohio, all right? The average temperature is well above 40. And when snow hits the ground, it's like the white death is on everybody. Now, keep in mind, I'm from Nebraska, where six-foot drifts were a common thing, and running in the snow was not a big deal. And Kansas and, all those different places that have a lot of snow, even Indiana. So, I have to reach back because I don't know if it's a depreciable skill or not, but driving in this, you got to, take your time, be constant, and don't be a dumbass. And you can drive anywhere you want. But around here, people get excited and they believe four-wheel drive is a key to all things, except for they haven't figured out that you can't stop on that stuff. So you got to be very, very defensive. Well, here it got to a level 3, which means you're not on the roadway unless you're essential. Of course, I've got a badge that says I'm essential and made it to work. Coming back, the road crews did an excellent bang-up job in clearing the roadways. One lane totally clear, second lane very approachable, no big deal. In town, very well taken care of. So I think the worst is past us. Still says 4 waiting. I don't know what that's all about. Let me know. Or you could come down, Mrs. McGolf. She's upstairs. I told her if she was really want to, she could test out the heater. Yes. Okay. There's Pete. Shotgun shaft question. My swing speed is between 90 and 80, 95 and 80. Guys go about 230 for me. Which model would you recommend I get? Oh, you mean for the Shogun? Pete, I would say certainly something it would be in the stiff flex, and the way that you're swinging. If you want to lower basically if you want it to lower just a little bit, then the red. If you like your ball flight that you got more of that medium type flight, then the green. Okay, but I would stay in if you like the weight that you've got and you got that 60 gram, then they got like a 62. I would go with the 62 gram, and I would go with that one. You've seen me swing. I played the red for a while, and I thought it was just a little bit too low, and I put the green in there, and it's a rocket ship. the difference between the red and the green is this big. All right. So if you feel yourself getting more aggressive in your swing, then I would go with the red so it can grow with you. But if you're going the other way, then go with the green and stay with it that way. But it's an excellent shaft. In fact, if I had my brain about me, I would have probably looked at them and ordered another one so I could take it to Orlando. Brody, what do you say? How's the weather in your area? Cold and white, right? And deep. This is the first time in a long time, and I bet since I'm going to say at least the 90s that we've seen something this deep, and we've really gone to a level 3 on where it really needed to be. So it's been pretty good. I don't mind it, but it really does slow things down. He's awake and the kids have left. All right. There we go. There we go. No snow in Tennessee, just cold. Well, that's okay. I would take, as long as it's dry, cold's not so bad. Charlie, A&W tonight. She's going to surprise you, Charlie. Howard, headed to Florida Friday, timed it perfectly. We'll be here a month planning to play some golf. Well, good for you, Howard. What part of Florida are you going to? Because I think it's going to be actually kind of nice down there. Right now it's a little cold. Our cousins and some of the folks, it's running at night in the 40s and then during the day in the 60s. So what I got on right now would get me through the day. It'll be a little chilly during the morning, but an hour later it'll be just fine. Debbie loves some A&W, Charlie. Tastes like Germaline. All right. Icy Lombard. Jack, you know what? The only place I've ever had that I've ever been so cold in my whole life was in Illinois. Oh my God. And it was just near the line. I wish I could remember the name of the place. We were there in the Navy, and it starts with a W. I swear I'd never forget it. Now I just did. Anyway, it froze our whole entire car. And with a 1/4 inch of ice. We got all that lake spray, and then it froze. Oh, it was awful. And but yeah, it gets cold up there. Scott, what do you say, buddy? Are you still working with those guys down there? We were going by there, and I thought half thought about stopping to see you guys, or at least visit to see whether or not I might just stumble upon where you're at. Hopefully everything's going well. And I think I got Mr. McGolf convinced we're going to have to take a trip over that neck of the woods and do some golfing. Loving the new CBs we made for him. Well, thank you. I am so happy to hear that. That is just exactly what we wanted to hear. You got me thinking about him now, Charlie. Damn it. I think they would fit my game a little bit more than the Dynafords. Although I'm hitting them well, I just think I would hit these. They just fit my game. Anyway. So again, tell me, did you get a chance to test them? I'm really interested to see what you came across. Andrew says, happy Monday to everybody. Barry Hill. Well, what do you say, Barry? That's a heck of a picture. Cheers. Well, same to you, sir. Here we go. It was, yes, A&W. I snowed in today and drank bourbon cream in my coffee after power came back on. I thought you were going with the other one. Okay. Mr. G, greetings from St. Louis, Jim and Robin. You should see the size of the icicle hanging off my arch. We got agents of sleet and snow now have an Arctic blast come in. Get me out of here. Dude, I'm with you on that one. I think what's going to happen here is we still have the snow. Like I said, it should be stopping in about an hour or two. And then I think it's only going to do just get colder. As I was removing the snow from my other vehicle when I got back home, there was already an ice layer forming on the top of on the snow. So that's not good for travel. Michael, he's back. What do you say, buddy? That reminds me, I did when we stopped one of the places that after we got done with the barrel, we stopped at I won't call it a distillery, but it was a place that we stopped called Chicken Cock, and it's the name. And they had their Cotton Club, which was their very, very, very high end. And I tasted it, and I was like, "What is wrong with this stuff?" And then they came out and they said it was a Canadian whiskey, a 20-year-old Canadian whiskey, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And when you're thinking you're going to get ready to drink some bourbon and you get a Canadian whiskey, you think, man, something has gone wrong. Once I got my taste buds readjusted, it was very good. All right, what would be the flex in parallel shaft that isn't tipped at all and only butt cut? What would the flex be in a parallel shaft that isn't tipped at all and only butt cut? Well, Scott, if you were putting it into a 3-iron, it would be the flex that's on the shaft. That's that one. Now, if you go with there are shafts out there that are, let me get this going here, that are discrete lengths, right? And that are parallel tipped. Typically that doesn't happen. The only one I've come across so far, but I know there's another company out there, is Nippon or Nippon. And they can do that. They'll do a discrete length. They also do one that's not, and depending on the model. So if you get a parallel tipped and they're discrete lengths, it's whatever you butt cut it, and it's whatever's on the shaft. Now, if we have a typical blank, which is normally about 41 inches long, and you put it in a 3-iron, you cut it to length, it's whatever that flex is. Put in a 4 and don't tip trim it, and you cut it, it's about a third of a flex less, 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 and so on. The real problem with that is once you get outside the butt section, which is that first, step, and once you get past or get in very, very close to that, then you will change how that particular club feels and how it reacts, because you just took the whole butt section out of the club. And that's not recommended. Okay, not recommended at all, because now the profile of that shaft just changed radically. Because normally we classify things by the butt, the middle, and the tip. Okay, butt, middle, and tip. And once you get there, um, it's and you just removed one of it. Now your dynamics of that shaft are shot, basically, or they're changed radically. Let's put it that way. And your gripping is going to be awful, because now you've gone from the butt section, which might be, let's say, 600. Now you've just stepped down. Now you've got a lot of taping you've got to do. All right. When you make ice cubes, use bottled water. When you make ice cubes, use bottled water. They will come out clear. I use the water that goes through a filter in our ice machine. But you make a good point. I'm going to try that. That'd be a good experiment. That one's been sitting in there for a while, kind of taking that 120 down a little bit. And now we're getting there. And anyway, and one of the last stops that we went to Heaven Hill and did Bourbon Our Way, and got Mrs. McGolf in there taste testing, and she came away actually liking the Larceny Barrel Proof, and I was just shocked and amazed. I thought certainly she'd go for the Bernheim, which was a wheated bourbon, very much a little bit easier to come by, but she liked the Larceny, so good for her. And I ended up walking away with Elijah Craig, a couple of Y batches, so got a couple of unicorns out of there. Florida and the UK means something entirely different. Well, it can mean the same thing over here, Kent. Yeah, I could tell you a story on that one. We got so in the place that I work, I'm an incident commander, and I got a call that said somebody left a bomb in this facility, and we get there. Of course, you got protocols and how you approach it and whatnot. And It turns out it's an outhouse or a porta potty. And then when you open it up, it says there's a bomb in there. It's written on the side, and there's a bomb in there. And what it turned out is that they talked about a ginormous floater. And, I wanted to get mad, but it was just too doggone funny. And I was like, all right, we're done here. And we moved away. But yeah, I get you. All right. Steven says, hit that thumbs up, everybody. Thank you so very much. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oh, Charlie, I was going to tell you, if you look around, look for April 1. There's a guy that was a Navy chief. He's in Indianapolis right now. He's pushing a bourbon of his own. I'm not buying it over the internet, but he's involved with a group called Hotel Tango, which was another military group, and they're both in Indianapolis working together. So check it out. There we go. All righty. Andrew asks, would a faster tempo swinger benefit poorly from a Diamana ZF 40S and 5.0? Yes. 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 The answer to that is yes. So, okay. So torque, if you're quick, right? Quick you're like this. And 5.6 means it does this more, right? If you're at 3.2 is pretty much the average. That's kind of the sweet spot for a lot of people. So in 3.2 means it goes a little bit less. 2.1, a little bit less. There's never been a 0 that I've ever seen, but that's where that's at. Now, I will say this, Andrew. I imagine that they work on it very, very well. But if you see these guys right here, those guys right there, and my Shoguns over there in blue, they're the very lightweight, and they're the very high launching, and they're the very flexible shafts. And right now, the trend is in long drive is to use those. And you can literally see the shaft bending, okay? The problem with that is your timing has to be pretty doggone good. And if you're not practicing like these guys do, it's going to be a detriment. Now, I did that test where we did the Shoguns, where we had the blue, which was the lightweight, very torquey, high launching stuff, and then the green and the red. And both Bob and I did it, and we take it back pretty decent, and with not a lot of torque or not a lot of pressure. But when you come down, we both pull pretty hard, and neither one of us could get that ball flight to come up. Right? It was just hitting these bullets. And for our swings, although characteristically they're fairly close, but our swing, the way that we get there is totally different, and they did the same thing. The green one, neither one of us truly liked the green one initially, and then we both hit the very heavy, very stiff one and just nuked it, which gave me an idea to go back to the green one in a heavy and higher flex, and that one worked out pretty good too. So, but as far as a standard issue goes, no. I don't mind light so much, but you can get to a point where it gets too light and you lose it in the backswing. And depending, again, we're all talking about swing speed. I don't know what it is, but if you're a quick tempo kind of person, chances are you're going to lose a 40-gram shaft in your swing somewhere, and maybe you want to consider that 50-gram option instead. Oh, this shaft here? This is a custom. If you're talking about this one, this is a custom I series, and this was done. I don't know if it's going to ever catch on to it or not. There we go. What this is I ordered. Acura does custom colors, and this is their I series. Now the other one's a little bit different, but I like this one because it was simple. It had the Acura, it had the weight, and that was about it. And then but you can pick the color and the, we'll call it the two colors. And that's what I did. And I made a red, white, and blue. And that was to go with these different ones. I did one that had all of my family on it. I had one for the Navy, and I can't even remember what the other one was for. And as it turns out, I thought, man, I could just nuke these things because I was liking a lighter shaft in the day. And what it turned out to be is that the bounce on these things were just too shallow for me. And I just really never got friendly with them. Otherwise, I would have loved them. Okay, here we go. Michael, it's minus 15 degrees Celsius here. Been on the golf course today, and there's 3 inches of snow on the greens. So good for isolation for the winter. Waiting for mid-April. There you go. I will say this one again, another story. When we left Iowa, I was leaving Iowa to come here to Ohio, and I left a nuclear plant to come work here. And the very last thing that we saw on our way out were snowflakes the size of silver dollars coming down, and 3 guys on the putting surface that the road split a golf course. And there's these 3 guys with toboggans on and 3 layers of stuff and gloves, and they were out there putting in the middle of this snow. And I'm like, good gravy, but impressive. All righty, Manuel. Do I measure length from 60 degrees? No, I don't, Manuel. I do not. I measure it from its playing position. That's the reason why I use that Accumade. And I did some testing, and I measured. I kept everything at 60 at one point. I measured at 60 on my Accumade, and I left everything there. And the difference was, of course, it's 60 degrees. So at the top end, you start at like 59 and a half, 60, 61. When you get down to those areas, you're pretty much right on within a 16th of an inch. When you get down to the lower areas, then you changed and it was about an eighth of an inch difference. All right, eighth of an inch difference. The real trick was in the drivers because some of the drivers will be at 59 and a half, 59, sometimes 57. And then some of them will be at 62, 63. It's just crazy. It's different manufacturer, right? And those, the max difference was a quarter of an inch. So in reality, unless you're getting close to the limit of, was it 47 now? If you get close to the limit of 47, then if you're running at that 47 marker, then you really need to measure it at 60 in case somebody measures it because that's the standard they will use. If not, then I don't think it really matters. As long as you're consistent from the fitting to that. All righty. Robin's talking to everybody. Joe Palace, what do you say, sir? Hello, all. Just came in to hit the thumbs up. We'll catch you with the reply later. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. PG says he found his swing today, fellas. I'm never going to hit another bad shot ever. Okay. Who wants to take odds on that one? But good for you. I'm glad you found it. Michael moves that normal fuse shut while it's April. Yes. So if Michael is and most of the folks up there in Canada, uh, they literally shut down. They actually shut down before the first snowfall. Michael getting out there while there was snow on is a good one. We have another one. Yukon, was it Yukon Living gets on here every once in a while, and he's from that same neck of the woods. And yeah, he used to kind of complain about the idea of them shutting down a little early when they could at least gotten a couple more rounds in because, as you can tell, their season is not nearly as long as some of ours. So, but to get started, if they really get started in April and they close in what end of November, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent in all respects. Duke K, what do you say, man? What's that say? Farmstead. Okay, Farmstead. Oh, it moved on me. Let's see if I can make it go away. There we go. Anyway, it's been a while to watch you live. Life has been nuts. Do you believe in spine flow are worth the expense? My golf spy differs. Yeah, and it all depends on your take on what it means. Okay, spine and flow in now. Let's go back to this. It depends on the quality of your golf shaft. All right. Some of the golf shafts have aligned themselves such that they leave you a little marker on the golf shaft, and you can be logo up or logo down, and you literally be in that spine and flow category. A couple of the companies are right behind me. Acra does it, Nippon does it. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I use them because the quality of that build. Now, there are some that it just goes wonky. And if you get into a set, in order for this to prove itself, you just don't do 10 or 50. You got to do a lot because there's just so many different golf shafts out there to see whether or not it works. Now, in my experience, it's about a 50-50 split. Okay. There are some people that live and die and breathe on doing spine and flow. They believe that it makes their golf clubs better, that makes them more consistent, and they will die on that hill. There are some others that have had it done and will say they have never ever they didn't see a difference in performance whatsoever, and that can be true as well. Okay. So what I have done, and I know I've been beat up on it a few times, is that when I do a build, it's part of our build process, unless they ask for something else, and I put it together and I do it anyway. Now, the only thing it can do is change the location of the logo on the shaft, but I believe it builds if nothing else, Duke, it builds a more consistent golf club. If you put it all together the same way, why not? And so let's see. Well, let's go into this. I'm getting my golf club up here. Um, let's argue that. All right. So the other side of it is that, well, if you watch what I twang it and I twang it once, that's the only way that works, and it always goes back to the same way. So you really don't need to do it because I put it in several different locations and it all twangs in the same way. Yes, when you pull it down the same way, the very first beat of that thing is going to be there. However, that's not how the golf shaft works. All right. When you bring it back, we're talking about twanging it in this direction or even this direction where it goes through there. All right. So, and these are the same cats that believe that the shaft actually bends in this particular direction, which is very, very little. The shaft actually bends down this way. All right. I can't make it do this because it's a wedge shaft, but it bends down that way. The kick on this thing is very minimal. Okay. And that's been proven through high speed testing. So, it all depends on what the evidence, and that's like science. You can use any bit of the evidence to come to any conclusion you want instead of letting the evidence take you to a conclusion. And it's how you want it done. Am I totally sold on it? Is it going to be the make or break of a golf club? No, not even close. But there are some people, just like I said, everything, when I say typically, there's no absolute. There are some people that will benefit from it, and there are some people that may not even do it. And that could be a guy that goes golfing once a month. Could be a guy that is a very good golfer and just never decided that that was a thing for them. Okay, right? It's whatever gets you to your lower score. Bottom line is, I just think it makes a better golf club. Yes, we're closed in November and opening in April. North of Montreal. Ooh-wee. There's Duke. Well, look at here. Let's go all the way down here. There's Duke. Thanks for the $10 upgrade, buddy. Appreciate it. And thank you, and Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much. You have stadium driving ranges then? Well, we do have some Top Golf. I've got one north and one to the west of me. Hey, Ken, are you in Halifax, Nova Scotia? I'd say you got to go a little further. Yep, there you go. Nope, Halifax and Yorkshire in the UK. Very good, sir. Are we moving? Yes, we are. We're still moving. Let's see if I can make it go away. There we go. Let's see if that. Hey, look at that. I figured it out. 19 in shorts. You are the man, Kent. I know, buddy. I'm telling you what. That first swing, I thought I was swinging. I thought I was swinging pretty good. I felt like I was hitting the middle of the golf club, and all of a sudden it wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm hitting it really good. And then I check out my swing speed, and I'm like, oh, okay, playing a little conservative. So in my 20 swings, what I've decided to do, much like when I did that workout program with Dr. Guidry, and he wanted me to do 10. That's after hitting much many more shots. It was the do 10 at just max capacity. And so now what I'm doing here in the 20 in the last 5, I'm going max capacity. And max capacity means I'm swinging with a much bigger shoulder turn. And as I'm coming to find out that much bigger shoulder turn is actually, if I can control it, if I don't jump out of my shocks and keep it there, I actually hit it better. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to gear myself towards that. Not to try and hit it with everything I've got, but to hit it with that bigger shoulder turn. And it comes down to timing. All right. Or he's just one tough cookie. If he says yes, I'm done. One of my friend's kids used to call me Mr. Hairy Legs 35 years ago. Oh, oh. The 925 Ford just got released. Would love to see a review. Me too. I was waiting on that one to come. They didn't tell me it was getting ready. The rest of the line has been phenomenal. So we're going to have to reach out and go get us a couple of setups, because I think I might really like that club. Barry, and you will see a review. There's no doubt in my mind. Hope all is well with you, from Dean Walker. What do you say, sir? Don't you just love this snow dumped on Ohio? Well, I can say no, but it's not going to help me any. Dean, it was nice to see the snow. It can go away before next week, no doubt, right? Man, the snow gives me problems, I guess. Look at that. It moved again. All right, let's see if this will get rid of it. All righty. Scott Gordon just ordered a Odyssey Square to Square Jailbird, hoping it works as advertised. Scott, I got to hit them all, and I do like the Square to Square, the zero torque putters. And cover your ears when I get ready to say this. 1, 2, 3. Of all of them, the Jailbird was the one I liked the least. The sound coming off of it did not sound good to me, and I'm off put by the stripes. I like the shape of the putter. I just wish it was blue. I get the idea of the Jailbird. I understand what they're doing. I just don't like the stripes, and that's what throws me off. But the rest of them, I think, are pretty cool. And I do like the idea of the slightly taller one, and I do like those. Jim, do they have anyone out there making clubs heads in a 3D printer, maybe going to the show? Well, I am going to the show. The only people that I know that have experimented with 3D printing so far and to date have been Cobra. There was some 3D printing in it. I know they did putters. I don't know. And there was something in this last set of heads I messed with. They mentioned 3D printing, but I don't think that it was 100%. John Lamb wants to know, do I need a snowblower to come down to you guys? No, not necessarily anymore. By the end of tomorrow, it ought to be nice and clear. And he hit the thumbs up. Very good. Thank you. Richie Jennings, there's a new one. Hi, Jim and Robin. Our snow is gone again, but back to cold up here in the Atlantic Canada, minus 13. Teeny weeny cold up in Atlantic Canada, too. Is that near Nova Scotia? I do want to get up to Nova Scotia. That place just looks really nice. Just looks really, really nice. And they've got a couple of barbecue festivals up there, I'm told. Mr. Three Pot, love the show. Got some new ZX4s. Nice on you. That's a nice club. And now the weather turns cold. Hopefully it passes and we get to play this weekend. The ZX4 is a very, 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 very forgiving iron. It's the stronger of the clan, much bigger than the rest, as you should know. That's got a slightly wider sole. Very, very friendly club. Rob's talking on. Thank you for your help. Based on information, I believe the green is the right way to go. I believe it would be too, Peter. And honestly, the way that you're swinging, I'm getting through the you're swinging a few mile an hour faster than me right now, and I'm literally hitting the X shaft. It doesn't get very high. What I might consider is, if you want to do that, go with the green and maybe tip it a half of an inch, and I think life would be grand. Emmanuel, hope your wife has a very speedy recovery. Just keep up with the physio. Yes. The PT is important from what, I've never been through a hip replacement, but I've seen people with knee and hip replacements, and physical therapy is absolutely the key to getting back on your feet and it not hurting going forward and getting that mobility back. Oh, Ron says, we were in San Francisco in 2015, got 10 inches. Remember getting stranded in Atlanta? I didn't know that's the reason why we got it there, but okay. And what is Saki? Waukegan, that's it. That's the number. That's the one. Look at that. It won't go away. Would you stop? And Waukegan, that is it. Waukegan, Illinois. That was the very first place that Mrs. McGolf and I took up residence, in our our apartment had actually radiators in it, and a three burner stove, just like on Green Acres. Yep. Well, you never know. Uh-oh. Now I'm getting pressured. Scott's got a 2-year anniversary at the Golf Exchange for today. Well done, sir. I'm glad that you got it there. Hopefully they like the fact that you're around there for 2 years with them. GU812, love the show. Well, thank you. Got any questions? Ask away. Can we plan a McGolf outing this fall? It would be a blast. Oh, we'll get Miss McGolf on that one. She's the planner of the clan. And see what we can do. Thanks, John. We upped her physical therapy reps today. Oh, good. Well, as long as she's not getting too sore, buddy, that's a good sign. Well done. The other question is Shogun Chef, which flex do I go with? Nothing. Well, we just talked about it. Like I said, I'm controlling the M5 just fine. However, I don't know if you're necessarily as aggressive as I am. I would take the M4 and maybe just tip it a half an inch and get to the same spot. I accidentally took a driver shaft and used it in my 7-wood without tipping, and it goes high and lands soft. And that would be exactly what it should have done. And when you did that, it made it about, 357. It probably made it a flex and a half more flexible than what was on the shaft. But if it works, it works. I mean, look at Fred Couples. He's using that 5-wood that he's had in the bag forever, and it's got a ladies flex shaft in it, and he just knocks the tar out of that. Elijah Craig, Well, it just so happens, Charlie, I've got the last PGA show, Elijah Craig. I got a toasted Elijah Craig. I got a Y batch Elijah Craig. And I got a a B batch Elijah Craig from last year. And yes, they're pretty decent. The PGA show, I got one as a collector piece, just because it had the PGA show on it, and it was in Kentucky at the time. So I wanted to get something to memorialize that one because it went with. I've got one from the 50th uh, 50th Open, or the 150th Open. I believe it's was it Lagavulin? Anyway, whatever the Scotch was from that one, I've got one from them too. So I've got both of them. They're just collector's pieces. Kevin C. What do you say, buddy? Hello from Central Virginia. You should come out here in the spring and play our two Mike Strands courses. I'll be in Myrtle Beach early June. Where should I play? Enjoying some Woodford rye. Dude, you know what? That Woodford stuff, I was kind of off put with it because my brother-in-law gave me the regular bourbon and it was nasty. It was not good. And we stopped there and we got some of that rye and the double oak and that other stuff. Wow, hundredfold better, hundredfold better. And they had one of their little special ones there, which was great, but I didn't like it as much. Uh, I just didn't like it as much. Uh, Places to play in Myrtle Beach, right? Places to play in Myrtle Beach. Uh, uh, there's lots of good places to play in Myrtle Beach. We've got two guys on here from Myrtle Beach, right? That could tell you a lot of places. But if you want and you're just going down for a one time only, a couple places I would recommend would be Myrtle Beach National, and Myrtle Beach National only because it's got some really cool holes on it. That would be one. Uh, Another one would be pick a plant when they call plantation courses. Go down there and play. You got to play a plantation course. It's a different experience altogether. And in the last but not least, that was the what was the me and Peter and I think and Bob played. It was the Dunes. What was that Dunes course, Peter? Uh, it had dunes in the name, and it had a little one of them had a little crocodile as the logo. I'm putting it right here as the logo, and those for certain you would not be disappointed. They've got a TPC down there, and honestly, from a TPC point of view, in the off season, I don't know if it's worth going to see that one. It's a nice course. Don't get me wrong; they're all nice down there. But when you go to a TPC, there is an expectation of this second tier kind of stuff now, and I just don't know if it's there. Uh, Another one would be, uh, and again, it's in the plantations. But if you get into the northern side of it, all the stuff that's in the help me out here, guys. It's the one that it has. It's all by the down behind the landing ones. It ends in landing. There's three courses up there. There's a love course. There's a Fazio course, and there's a the shark. He's got a course up in there. Those are extraordinarily nice. If you can get on one of those, I would go there. Okay. Pete G, my irons are D4. Just added some more lead tape. When does that become a bad idea? I.e., how much does too much weight show? Okay, Pete. So number one is when you start if you've added somewhere around 10 grams or more, you're going to start moving the center of gravity of the club around, and as much as an eighth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. Okay, and so if you're adding 10 grams or more at the 10-gram mark, you got to start being suspicious of what's going on. Number two, where you place it, right? You can kind of spread it around and lessen the effect a little bit along the length of the cavity. If you just place it all in one spot, And then what it'll do is, particularly in the back of a cavity, it can lower it and bring it back. That sounds like a good thing in a lot of cases, but if you're hitting the ball high, that could be problematic. If you're putting it all out on the toe, all of a sudden you're going to hit a lot of open shots. So you've got to be very, very cautious about what you put on there. The other part of what I would do on this is don't get hung up on swing weight. All right. Don't worry about a number. D4 is not a magical number that everybody swings and has a good time with. It's all about the feel. Okay. It's all about the feel. I cannot tell you how many times that I've put a lighter shaft into a golf club during a fitting and the guy goes, "Oh, this is heavy." Well, not really. If I was to measure it, it's literally 2 and 3 swing weights lighter, but it feels head heavy because we've disrupted the balance of the golf club. So you want to be very, very cautious about that. Don't be chasing a number, chase the feel of it. So you put on there and you go, "Wow, I really like this." Just stop and hit it. Just stop and hit it, and I guarantee you'll be better for it. And then go hit it. And if you do that for all your clubs, you'll be shocked at how close and how far away you will be on some of them. Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, when you get all stuck behind there, that's wrong. They're all laughing. Did you find that the TD Dynamic Gold Mid played pretty true to flex? Yes. In typical Dynamic Gold fashion, John, the Dynamic Gold played exactly like all the other ones. They trimmed to the middle of the flex. So if you took their trim codes, and chances are you're going to be like right in the middle of stiff range, right in the middle of the regular range, and so on and so forth. As far as shaft weights go, it depends on your comparison. I have been absolutely 100% spoiled with the Nippon and the Acras and that stuff being very, very tight in their tolerance. In fact, I just built a couple, and there was one where it was 5 and 6 grams off. Now, in true temper terms, that's okay, right? Because 9 is one swing weight point. And would anybody feel it? Probably not. But when you're talking about trying to build a really nice set of golf clubs, it gets in the back of my mind. So what I do is I pull that one out of the set, and I'm always measuring that one against all the rest to make sure that's okay. Are they tight like 2 and 3 grams a piece? No. But are they within a spec? The answer is yes. That's the shaft that put in my new Wilsons. They're true to flex and feel fantastic. Yeah, when I built John, when I built Charlie's, we put them in there, and these were actually taper tip models, and they were dead on the money. It was really scary how good they were. They were within a quarter of a flex, so very good for them. Kent's saying he's got wedges at D4 to D6, and that's actually a pretty proper flex or swing weight when you talk about it, Kent. It's when you get into your irons, normally it's around a D0 to D2 anymore. Mine are somewhere around that. Just added some lead tape today. All right, don't go too crazy. It's nothing wrong with adding some for feel, but just don't go too crazy. I'm fortunate to have swing weight scales so I can check mine a few times in the seasons. There you go. Very good. Pete says, just found out today, the less I try to hit the ball, the further it goes until good swing speed, which blows me away. All right. Pete, thank you for being my straight man. Inevitably, in my fittings, this topic comes up. And when we call it, and relaxed is actually a pretty good connotation. But tension free is probably better. So what happens here is when we get into these fittings, what I will do is I will ask the golfer to stand on a couple of them. I want to see what they're going to do when they get out there and they try and, we've got them in a groove. and I'm trying to knock them out of a groove to see what's going to happen. And so I say, hit one as best you can. Notice how I didn't say hard, because normally when you get out there, golfers will use the term, hey, look, fellas, we got to get one out there. Somebody's got to hit one really hard to get it out there. That is the worst set of words to be used when trying to make a golf swing ever. Okay. What you want to do is you want to hit that ball fast. It's different, right? Hit the ball fast. Well, how do you hit a ball fast, right? Every stick and ball game, every one, baseball, field hockey, golf, fishing. You ever watch those guys and they're doing their batting and they're doing like this and they're moving until they get ready to swing, and all of a sudden they stop. When they're golfing, they do their waggles and they do their feet placement just until the moment up until they take off and they do their swing. When you're doing fishing, right, it's like this. Nobody goes and just tries to fish hard. Nobody fishes hard. All right. And so why is that? That's because we don't want what I call golfing rigor mortis to set in. You get those guys that they clamp onto that golf club, they slam that golf club on the floor, and you just see this mental checklist just going through their head. And as they're doing it, their veins and the veins start popping out, their forearms they grow to like Popeye size, and all of a sudden they take this mighty swing and it goes 30 yards. And they get pissed and they throw down a ball. And I'm using it because my mat's over here. And they throw down a ball and they hit that I don't care swing and they hit it and they just nuke it and they don't feel like they swung hardly at all. That is because the more relaxed muscle moves faster. And I have shown people time and time and time again, when they relax, that they'll pick up a mile or two just relaxing. Okay. Now, it's really hard for most guys because guys relate power to like running a hammer on a nail. This is power. That's power. And it is power. But you don't need power to hit a golf ball. You need speed. You need speed to hit a golf ball. That's the difference. And once you get that in your head, it's way easy to hit a golf club, right? A golf club is a tool. It is not the end all. You do not have to swing this thing hard. You need to swing it fast. How do you swing it fast? By getting tension free. When you get tension free, you pick up speed. When you pick up speed, the ball goes further. Reality is when you go tension free, you actually hit the ball better. And it is really hard for us as a whole to do 18 holes in that, because the golfer in us gets in there and we get I got 10 more yards in that swing. I barely swung and I hit the crud out of that golf ball. If I put a little more effort into it, it's going to go a little further. Negative. You already put the effort into it. Putting more is going to slow you down. All right. There's my soapbox. Thanks for putting me on it, Pete. There we go. I was just messing around and trying to make solid contact and was hitting my arms further, less effort. And the funny part is, when you think less effort, if you have somebody watching you and you're doing it, it doesn't appear to be that way. That's the reason why those guys that are on the tour, they look like they're barely swinging, but they're still throwing 120 mile an hour swings on it. There is something to be said. If there is ways to practice to build up your swing speed and still have the same feel. That's not what I was just talking about. There's a way to train speed to get it faster. That's what all those things are. And that's actually one of those things that's on here. It's called the stack. I'm really interested in the stack. I want to go see what that's all about. Shaft droop. That's another one too. Depends on who's telling you, Kent. You should try gummies, Pete. They'll relax. Now, this is the kind of conversations I like. We need some of this, a fire, and sitting around there and having people talk. That would be a lot of fun. Esther golf legs and hairy legs. What a combination. Ooh-wee, no doubt. So, Charlie, I'm going to ask you just one more time because I know we're getting close towards the end here. Did you get a chance to get into those vials I sent you? Because I just really want to know what you think. Yep. John Charles says, shaft droop. Well, had fun with that doing compressor alignments. Just be careful you ask about an older gentleman. They don't appreciate the question, no doubt. He'd never wear flip-flops. Good for you. Now we know there it is. Let's play through. Did a review on it. Okay. I don't know how he got it. How I didn't get one. I got a whole bunch of those guys sitting right there. Oh, you know why I probably don't have one? They probably don't offer it in left-handed. But we'll have to go check it out. Okay. That's probably it. They probably don't offer it in left-handed. Otherwise, I would have gotten it because they sent me a whole bunch of the other ones to test. I'm digging on those clubs, man. Cobra has a 3D printed for a while now. Oh, really? Okay. I knew they were dabbling in it. I just didn't know if they went to the irons or whatever in it. I knew the putter was a 100% 3D modeled, but I didn't know about the rest of them. And we know now that Max Homa is now a member of the Cobra family. Jumper Butter's blue and white stripes are toned down. I know. I had the guy had him in here, and I putted with it, and I was just like, I don't know. It just I like that bigger head look, but you know what? The one I actually putted better with was the double wide version of that. I did, man, woo wee, that was a great feel. It was easy to align. I was able to look down at it and see it, and man, I putted lights out with that thing. Thank you, John. If you run it fast enough in the sorts, the shaft right out. Rub it. There you go. Yeah, there we go. Richie. Jim, I'm in New Brunswick next door to Nova Scotia. Barbecue is pretty great seafood in the summertime. Yummy. All right, Miss McGolf, you got a spot. We got to figure out a plan. Charles Bartholomew, thanks, Charles. Have a set coming. Reshaft my 7 signs. Looking forward to the build. I like them. Okay, the what we're talking about is the dynamic gold mid. I like them. I've had them in. I've played them in a couple of the Mizunos, and I've played them in a couple of the Apexes, and they both worked very, very well. I have a sneaking suspicion that those are the old dynamics of old. Old dynamics of old. The dynamics of old. Okay. And I believe if I'm correct, I believe that those things are and they fit a ton more people than the dynamic gold ever did. Very, very good shaft. I hope they stick with it for a lot longer. Nova Scotia is almost like Maine. Great people. My daughter is based there on St. John's ship, Canadian Navy. All right. Ooh, Canadian Navy. Very good. Tell her thank you for her service. Running late. That's okay, buddy. 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment veteran. I'm seeing a lot of veteran stuff pop up there, Pete, about in the whiskey world. Again, Hotel Tango, look that up if you're interested in that. There's a guy in North Carolina called B Hawk for the Black Hawk Down. So if you're interested, there it is. All right. Dave is on here with us from a freezing Michigan. Dude, it's freezing everywhere. Anyone try a lab putter? Pete, I've got a lab putter in my bag. I like it. And now I will say this from a price, it was price prohibitive, but I got it because of being on a My Golf Spy selection. And man, oh man, I could not be happier. If I would have known it was going to be like that, spending the extra money, not a problem. It really turned a lot in. Now, it was a huge competition, I will say. I had the Makefield center shafted putter, and I put a BGT shaft. And oh, by the way, if any of you guys are interested in a BGT shaft, we just got an email. They lowered their price from it was some ridiculous amount of money. Now it's $100. It's a $99.99. It's $100 putter shaft, and it's a zero torque putter shaft, and it makes a difference. Okay, it makes a difference. I put one in the Makefield putter, turned it into a weapon, an absolute weapon. And it was a big battle between that and the lab putter to go into the bag. And what it came out to was a weight distribution thing. I think if I mess with the weights in the head on the Makefield, I could come pretty damn close. So either way, let me know if the golf group needs another to even the numbers. Okay. That's what it is. Grand Dunes Resort. That's the one. Grand Dunes Resort, man. If you can get into there, that was a great that was a great turnaround. I think there was enough really interesting holes on that one to keep, you tend to fall asleep during these things because they're all just straightforward. There was a lot of really unique holes on that golf course. Barefoot, that's the other one. Barefoot, that's the one. So Barefoot Landing, the Barefoot Landing, we've played all four of them. Bob and I have, and man, not a bad one in the bunch. I think it was the Love Course. There's some old ruins that you go by. That was a really good one, but the one that was the very last one we got to play was the one by the designer, and I believe it was a Pete Dye. Man, oh man, you better pack a lunch because that course is going to eat it. Definitely got to have your game on. Golf, like or dislike? BC. Hey, good. I've seen him. Kevin C. If you like Strands, Colonial, and True Blue. I was True Blue. I like that one. True Blue, Caledonia. Very, very nice. Those are what we're talking about when I was saying plantation courses. True Blue and those Caledonias in that area. Litchfield was another one. And there's one more, but you can't go wrong with any of those. I thought they were shite. Debbie tried them and couldn't miss. She still has the yes. I'm not springing 16 for a putter for a 13 handicap. Oh, now wait a minute. How can they be shite if she's draining everything? That's where I was at. 650, and that's what it is. It's very, very close because the pound and the U.S. dollar are very, very close now. I was like, man, that's a lot for a putter. But if you start sinking them, hey. But I don't go through putters very often, so for me, that's not a bad buy. And if she's still carrying a yes putter, she's not doing too bad either. Here's John. He's putting his 2 cents there for the Myrtle Beach stuff. Kings North will be shut down May to October, renovating. Oh, man. That would have been whenever you get down there. Well, May to October. If it's this coming May, if you get down there beforehand, definitely check that out. When the flowers when all the greenery is in bloom, not a prettier golf course. Barefoot Landing, yep, that's the other one. Yep, Barefoot, that's it. I couldn't think of the last name. Yeah, was it the Love? Somebody else already said what it was up in here. The Love, the Fazio, the Norman, all that one. Wayne Nothing says sea trails are nice. I haven't seen that one yet. To an extent, John, you're not wrong on that question. What you did is swing weight versus feel is in that MOI matching. To an extent, okay, to an extent. You can do some testing for MOI matching, but it's very tedious. And if you like that, you could actually, if you say this is what I like, and you go this is the feel that I like, and you could do an MOI match and then try and match to all that. You could do that. Come to find out, when we talk about MOI in its simplistic form, it's weight versus length. And the length has the square, so length has a little bit more impact than weight. So if you want to change the length on the club just ever so slightly, you get a bigger bang for your buck. And that's how I figured out when we went to shorter clubs instead of half-inch increments, I went to quarter-inch increments. and I was doing a poor man's MOI matching. Turned out pretty good, actually. And so you could do it like that. They do have MOI machines. They're getting very, very good now. But I just don't think it's all the things that are made in the industry were geared towards swing weight because it's been around forever. This MOI thing is kind of a happenstance. Although is it good? Yes, is very good. Uh, but is you have to do a lot of manipulation to get there. Golf. Dunes Golf Club, Beach, Dunes Golf and Beach, Caledonia, Tidewater. That's the other one. Tidewater, I've played there. I love the layout, and I've golfed like crap every time I've played there. I just don't know what it is with that thing. I avoid that thing like the plague now. True Blue, like that one. Polish Plantation. Man of War, yeah, it's okay. Cape Fear have not done some of the ones. There you go, but those are the good ones. And Grand Dunes. Yeah, I like the Grand Dunes. I thought that was a great. Peter and I and Bob went through there. Man, oh man. That was a good round. Fazio and Die. That's right. That we got on the Die one there, Peter. I don't know how, but we did. And man, what a great layout. But buddy, you had to bring your game because as Die was a very placement type golf designer, if you didn't throw it in the right spot, and they tried to tell us where to throw the golf ball, and in the very first tee, you got a whole creek of water, and the golf course dog legs into or bends into the creek, and you're like, well, how in the hell am I going to do this? And he said, and the guy in the starting box goes, you see that sandbox way over there, over to the right? And you're like, yeah, aim at that. And you're like looking at, and the whole visual of this thing is like, there's no way I'm hitting it like 15 yards out of bounds. He goes, just hit it over there. Well, okay, so we hit it over there. What you don't see is that there's this ginormous opening that gives you this tremendous shot into the green. And so he says there's landmarks on every green. One more. Nope, maybe not. And you have to find them. Well, if you don't know where they're at, how do you find them? But man, it was a great course. Lawrence Bronson, thank you, sir. Oh, we got a new icon. John says, I agree with Peter on the Dunes course. Played it yesterday. Oh, good. I liked it. Welcome. Just felt wrong to me, Pete. I just need to try for them yourself. Like I say, Debbie loved them. By the way, Grand Dunes has two golf courses, a resort and members. The resort course people like better than the members course, but the members course is a true membership experience. Okay. And if I recall correctly, it was funny. I remember remarking to my buddy Bob as we're rolling in there that I didn't see a car that was under $70,000 in that parking lot. There's Paul. What do you say, sir? How you been? My back nines were quite relaxing over the summer. Very cool. There's Robin talking back. What we got here? Hollis Conant. When does golf season end? I play year round in Oregon. Dude, if you can get year round in Oregon, more power to you. But right here, it's officially stopped. And it's normally around here in Ohio, the golf season ends typically somewhere between October and November. And not because of the fact that the temperature, it's because deer season starts. And a lot of people hunt, man. Oh, a lot of people hunt. And the white-tailed deer around here are crazy. So it's a good thing. But temperature-wise, typically into late November. And then depending on, like this year, we could have played all the way through Christmas. Now here it is, January, I don't know, 5th or 6th. 6th. And we got 10 inches of snow. So there is zero golf for a while. Now the soil around here is clay, and it loves holding on to all that stuff, and it's gooey and it's slippery. And if if it holds true, it'll be the end of March, beginning of April before we get started again. He just bought him some Callaway Rogue OSs. That's a couple of years back, Hollis, but I tell you what, it's a good little club. Oh, here we go. Charlie liked all three of them. I initially liked two. I liked two initially the best, but the more I taste three, the more I like it. I still have some left. I'm taking my time. Haven't opened. Oh, okay. That's the reason why. Well, I'm not going to say what they are then. I just did this, like I was telling you earlier, and this will be the last thing before we sign off, is I did the Knob Creek 9, and that's a single barrel. That's the one we got when we did the distillery tour. I recommend that highly. If you ever guys get down there to Kentucky and you get a chance to see Jim Beam, the layout is great, the tour is great, and you get to bottle one of your own. It's fun, and it's a single barrel. And it's great. And then I got the 18, and I got a 12. And I did a comparison. I did it twice, and I came up with the same answer both times. So that was pretty good. I'm glad I did it twice just to get my feet wet on how to do it. And but yeah, they have a maple, and if you like a very, 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 very sweet bourbon, maple is the way to go. And they have another single barrel, but why get it if you can get this other one? But a nice little setup. And Charlie, the Elijah Craig, can't go wrong with that one either. Okay, guys and gals, we've gotten down to the end. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe. We went a half an hour over. I appreciate the fact that you guys are asking me the questions. I do. I think it was awesome. Again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Check out the video I released on Sunday about fixing an adapter. Hopefully it comes in handy for you guys or something that you might like to figure out. And keep an eye out. I haven't posted one yet, but the Pars and Pours is going to be coming to fruition. And next week we'll be talking. And then after that, I don't know if we'll be down in Orlando after that. Or maybe is it another week? Anyway, we're going to get back into it. And as usual, guys, let's see your scores. Go low.